So in this video, I want us to discuss 5 skills that every taxi driver must have in 2024 if you want to succeed and make it big. The first skill that I will talk about is the syndrome or the disease of single trip. Okay? This is something that has really destroyed a lot of drivers' career, especially taxi drivers. And what do I mean by the single trip syndrome or a single trip disease? This is whereby drivers try to assess their earnings by looking at what they have received from one trip. In so many instances, no driver has ever felt that the compensation they get from a single trip is well justified or well compensated. For instance, if you drive a customer for a trip of 27 kilometers, you might be paid 1,300 Kenya shillings. Or for example, if you drive a customer from Nairobi CBD all the way to Thika, which is a distance of around 40 kilometers, a driver will be paid maybe 1,500 shillings. Sometimes I tell you, after driving for almost 1 hour plus, and then you are paid such a small amount, and maybe you are in a heavy traffic situation, you feel so much disappointed. And this symptom or this disease has really disappointed and discouraged so many drivers, and out of it they have developed a very poor and negative attitude towards the whole industry. So my advice to anyone who is intending to join this market, please don't focus on what you get from a single trip. At the end of the day, sit down and check your full day earnings. Look at your pocket and ask yourself, after the deductions of commission, after the deductions of fuel cost, how much money have you taken home at the end of the day? And you will always feel surprised. You will always feel happier. If not very happy, you will feel happier than focusing on what you get from a single trip. There have been so many issues of driver complaining that, they are paid even 200 shillings after a trip, another trip they are paid 150 Kenya shillings. But if you compound all those small amounts, at the end of the day, you will find that the amount you take home is not negligible, and it is good amount of money. The second thing that every driver must stay away from is the attitude or the thinking that companies are foolish. There are so many drivers that are out there complaining about Uber, complaining about Bolt, saying that they are foreign companies that are on a mission to milk money from Kenya and make every driver in Kenya a poor person. As a matter of fact, that is not true. You must know that behind every company, big as Uber, big as Bolt, there are smart brains, there are smart people sitting behind, those computers, sitting in boardrooms and making decisions that they find fit for purpose. It might not be fit for you, it might not be fit for 1,000 people, but when they look at a context of a whole country, they find that whatever they are doing is justified for the purpose of that business. So you must know that maybe that business you are doing of driving taxi is not fit for you. It might not be right for you because of the effort that is required, because of the income that you get, which is maybe small compared to what you want. But the target drivers for these companies, these companies think that compensation is good enough for those drivers that they are targeting. So you must understand that those companies are designed to work the way they are working. And I don't see situations working better. Even in Europe, taxi drivers actually earn almost what Kenyan drivers earn. Just that maybe then they are paid in euros, but when you compare the expenses in their countries, at the end of the month, you'll find that they live almost the same type of life that drivers in Kenya could live if they had adopted a positive approach and maybe better money management skill. So let us forget these accusations against companies saying that they don't know what they are doing. Okay? So the third thing that every driver must remember is that it is also about the customer or the rider. This taxi business is not all about drivers. Imagine if passengers or riders or customers were to be charged maybe 2 times what they are being charged, how do you think the situation could turn out? Do you think you would have as many requests as you are receiving today? Do you think many drivers would be employed by the taxi industry as they are all today? Do you think the rider would be happy the way they are today? Even you as the driver, sometimes you order taxi for your family members, and as drivers actually we are very mean. We don't even use Uber or Bolt when ordering for rides for our families. Sometimes we go in driver, we go for us because they are cheaper and we want the cheap stuff. So everybody appreciates affordability, and it is time we stop talking about cheap. We want to talk about affordability. So even the customer, the people you carry, you know, they want to take rides in a manner that they don't strain so much financially to take that ride. You don't want to leave your customers without money if they take 10 rides in a month. Okay, so in as much as you want a lot of money in your pocket as a driver, think about the person who is paying you. What is the status of Kenyan economy today? Okay, what is the status of a common Kenyan who is not in the upper class or in the middle class category? How much do you think they can afford for that trip that you want to be charged 2 times more? Okay, so these things combined together with my point number 2 is what justifies the low fare trips that we have seen in the market today. And at the end of the day, we drivers can tell you for free that no driver has ever gone home without some money in his pocket. It's all about how much, and that how much is determined by so many factors, out of which like 80% is driver's attitude and driver's strategy during the day. Point number 4, we also need to talk about driving is a career of choice. You are the one who make a decision to join the industry. So when you get in there, you must also be strategic. You must understand how that industry is designed to function. And, you know, I said that most people get angry for the wrong reasons. If you are in the driving career, you must make analysis of what are the alternatives to this job. If you are a taxi driver today, I know a lot of taxi drivers are highly educated. Some of them have masters, some of them are primary school dropouts. So depending on your qualifications, academic qualifications, depending on your confidence as a professional in another field, do your comparative analysis and ask yourself, if I was in another job with my skill, how much money would I earn? And then criticize that job effectively after you compare it with an alternative job that you can do outside this. Honestly, if you are a person who never went beyond primary school and you are in this business, honestly, you have to thank God. Even if you have a master's degree, a lot of people are earning less than even 100,000 and they don't have a single minute of freedom. Well, this job will pay you almost equivalent of that and gives you a lot of freedom to do other things. So before you criticize this job, look at your qualifications and ask yourself, how much would you make if you were to leave this and go to another job where your qualifications can take you? Okay? And then point number 5, you know, think about impact. Okay? At the end of the day, whether you drive or not, there will always be drivers to do this job. There is no single day that the taxi driving industry will ever die or disappear, because it's a very, very impactful job. You will just see one day of taxi drivers, maybe, how do we call it, strike, can cause a standstill in town. We saw once, I think last year, when President Uhuru had ordered a crackdown on motorbikes or bodabodas, there was surge in demand for taxi. You know, sometimes people don't understand how much, you know, taxi drivers and bodaboda riders in town, how much important they are until they are not there. Okay, so the day that crackdown on bodaboda was ordered by the president, I am telling you, for the following 3 days, the demand for taxis and Uber was crazy, and the surge prices were up the roof. So what I'm trying to say is that this is a business that is designed to stay. And how it is working today, it depends on the market factors that I have said there. So this business will continue to cause impact, and when you drive and deliver people to their destination, you have contributed a huge impact in their life, a huge mission towards them achieving greater results for the country, and also you are doing good thing for your nation. Okay, so don't take it as if you are doing it for someone else. Don't take it as if you are doing it for yourself, if at least you are so much egocentric. Take it as if you are rendering service to someone who at the end of the day, you will say that you participated into the well-being of that person. You participated into the growth of your country's economy. And by combining all these things, I'm telling you, you will become a very, very appreciative driver. Anything that you get at the end of the day, you will go home happy and thanking God. And those are the points that I wanted to share with you today, at least to make your 2024 a happier year, if not better than 2023. Goodbye.